Hi everyone, it's Tammy, and I decided it was too nice today to do this indoors, so I'm sitting here in front of the Santa Fe Water History Park. So there's some ravens calling around in the background, which is fun. It's a nice, quiet fall day. Anyway, I thought I would talk a little bit today about I guess breast cancer was the one that came to mind. I'd mentioned in my last video regarding why lavender isn't good for people who are prone to breast cancer, who have it that runs in the family. It even is a problem for those who have a prostate history in their family with the men. So it's really, I thought that would be a really good place for us to start. And so aside from the lavender, I thought what I would do is actually highlight some of the constituents that I've mentioned that are really beneficial, actually one in particular, for not just preventing, but also supporting the recovery of from breast cancer. It really is, it's, as we all know, it's a very complex and difficult experience for anybody to go through. I'm not coming up with the right words. So what I want to do is, this is not a cure-all, and this is by no means an absolute prevention, but these are definitely measures that you can take, and in the way of oils that you can use that would either support the recovery process, whether you're with regards to doing chemo, if you are doing chemo, radiation. I mean, these are all very, very important to include in your recovery process. But the oils will actually make a difference, because they actually, as I've mentioned in the other videos, what the oil provides to the body, besides just symptom relief that we've discussed, is they actually provide a mechanism for the body to actually use nutrients more effectively. And that's the really important component to the oils. That, and the fact that they also can they can be contraindicated depending on what you've got going on and what you're actually using. So these are very important things to keep in mind. I apologize if I'm squinting. I think with the sun, I would put my sunglasses on, but I don't want to wear sunglasses while I do these. So that said, I thought the first constituent I would mention is called limonene. Now, limonene is found in a number of, well, actually all the citrus oils. It has a real lemony smell to it. But limonene has been found to be very effective against cancer cells, all cancer cells. This would be something when you mix with a carrier, depending on the oil that you choose, you could apply directly to the breast and would actually combat the cancer that way. So limonene, as I mentioned, is found in citrus oils. Bergamot is one, orange, lemon, lime, grapefruit, and another really good oil with limonene in it is celery seed. Peppermint is another one. So you could create a concoction, a cocktail, an elixir is a better way to say it. You can create your own elixir using any number one of these oils, or actually a couple of these oils, depending on what other other things you have going on within your body. Granted, cancer is the predominant issue, but I want to really emphasize here that at no point in time do you want to consistently use these same oils over and over again. You want to make sure that you alter them. Even though we are looking at one component in this case with, like I say, the limonene, However, as I've mentioned before, what makes oils the identity similar, but at the same time uniquely different, is their chemical makeup. And we'll get into that a little bit more in the next video. But I just want to say that depending on the chemical structure of the oil, they have different underlying effects. So even though they all have their symptom relief attributes, they do create this level of holistic communication. And if you don't change it, you're going to be missing out. I'm just going to say it that way, because you're not getting, you're not affecting the whole body at that point. You're only dealing with certain aspects of your health. And so, as I've mentioned before, we are the human body is a chemistry lab. There's billions of chemical reactions happening every second, and to not change these, and for that matter, change anything, it's part of the reason why it's, I don't know, I can't say that for certain, but it would be one reason why I would strongly encourage people to vary their diet. You want to make sure that you mix it up, because the body, for as much of a chemistry lab as it is, there's every chemical that you introduced into the body creates or affects a chemical reaction, and depending on where you are on that day and what you're exposed to, you can alter these chemical reactions. So being able to keep up with it is really good. So if you're dealing with breast cancer and you want to use oils with limonene in it, by all means start off with possibly 2, and use them for about 4 to 6 weeks, and then pick something else. Now, I had mentioned in another video about lemon not being good for people who actually have dopamine issues. And I'm going to say this about that. If you have dopamine issues in your family and you're also combating cancer, I'm going to say forego the concerns about dopamine. You can always recalculate once you've gotten through the hard part. So there's always exceptions to the rule, and that's for that particular guideline goes for people who aren't dealing with any major serious health issue. But breast cancer or prostate cancer, any cancer for that matter, is an important factor to get out of the way, if you will, sooner than later. And I think you would agree with me on that. A couple of other oils that you might think about blending into this, and again, we'll get into use and proper oil choice in the next video. There is a gene in the liver that, there's a number of genes in the liver that actually detox chemicals as they come into the body and create secondary metabolites. One gene in particular it's the CYP series of genes. There's a gene called the CYP1B1 gene that metabolizes estrogen. If there's a defect or an adaptation, oops, I caught myself. There's an adaptation on that gene and you're not metabolizing estrogen properly, it can lead into a number of health conditions where, it's obviously been tied to breast cancer, prostate cancer. The same particular gene also has ties to lung cancer, glaucoma, osteoporosis. This is all along the same gene that metabolizes estrogen. So it's a really good idea to include a couple of other oils in your blend if you are dealing with that. Now, I mentioned orange. Now, there's a number of kinds of orange on the market. I'm going to encourage one. It's called, the botanical name is Citrus aurantium, and it does contain limonene. It's known typically as bitter orange. You can get it in a petitgrain is another form, narrowly is another form, and that one actually has a beneficial effect on that CYP1B1 gene that I mentioned. Roman chamomile, not German chamomile, but the Roman chamomile is another one that works with that particular gene. So if you were to do, say for instance, a blend that contained peppermint, bitter orange, Roman chamomile to start. I'll name one more and I'll explain why. And then I'll explain why I'm not going to name any more. That would be a very good blend to begin with. Because as I mentioned, it's going to affect the CYP1B1 gene. It contains constituents that work directly against the cancer cells. Then there is the idea of exactly what you're going through medication-wise, along with treatment, such as chemo. Chemo, as you know, basically goes in and eradicates everything. And so there's a lot of, at that point, the liver is on overload. And the liver is meant to protect us. That's what it does. That's where these enzymes that I'm talking about, or these genes that produce these enzymes, are virtually housed. They are in other areas of the body, but the liver is the predominant one. It's the predominant organ. And so what I would suggest here for the liver, okay, peppermint is a good one that helps with the liver. Another really good oil, so we've already counted for peppermint. If you wanted to switch it out and possibly do a bitter orange, the Roman chamomile, celery seed, which has like I said, has your limonene. Almost I had a blonde moment there. Celery seed also helps to flush heavy metals from the body, and depending again on what you're currently going through with regards to treatment, that might be a good option. So if you did a blend of from chamomile, celery seed, peppermint, and bitter orange, now you have a blend that you could apply directly to the breast tissue. If it's prostate, that's a little bit more delicate tissue. You could apply it directly to the lower abdomen, and again, another better place could possibly be the under the arms. Sounds very strange, I know, but that's where it's easier to absorb. The lymph system is right there. It can be absorbed into the body and picked up and circulated. So that would be one blend. I'll repeat that: bitter orange, celery seed, Roman chamomile, and peppermint. Okay. A couple of other oil choices that support liver health in this case would be carrot seed oil. You might want to consider carrot seed oil in place of the peppermint or in place of the celery seed. Another one would be, it's called green moss, and that also supports the liver. And I would, if you were going to pick something really to help the liver out in this case, I would really encourage green moss, more so than carrot and or the peppermint, simply because it's a far more potent, and it's getting to the root of the issue, and it's helping to get you stabilized so that you can recover strongly. Again, you won't use it forever, but it is something that you would use for about 4 to 6 weeks and then change it up. So now, why only 4 oils within one blend? Again, I'm going to go back and say, depending on what other issues you have going on that need to be accounted for, typically people can go on to 2 blends of no more than 4 oils. 3 to 4 oils is sufficient. Why no more than 4? Well, and why not just one, right? I mean, here we have, why not just one? If this is what it contains, then why not just one? Well, you see, the body is an entire system, and there's also a synergy. There is a way that these oils actually work together. And if you just work with one single oil, it's not, believe it or not, it's just not as effective. So it's always wise to at least start with 2, but go no more than 4, because once you get higher than 4, you have too much going on. It's too much, and things begin to cancel one another out. Things in this case being the constituents. So you want to make sure that you have a fairly decent relationship between the oils, but not so much so that it just becomes null and void, and you're not really getting to the full effectiveness of the blend. Again, if you have other things happening, if you had health issues prior to, I'm going to go out on a limb here, and this is what I tell everyone, and say that there is no separate health issue. Everything is linked. Everything is related. And so depending on what other health issues you have, it would be advisable to continue to address those as well in a second blend. But right now I'm just speaking about the breast cancer. Now, as far as application goes, and again, we're going to get into this in the next one, but I want to say something here in the event that you don't see the next one, which is application. This occurs topically or through inhalation. You do benefit directly from inhalation. The nose is the only sense that we have, a sense organ, that is a direct extension of the brain. So it goes right into the olfactory bulb. The olfactory bulb rests right behind here, and it begins to pick up messages, and these oils will immediately trigger reactions within the body. And it's rapid. Sometimes you can feel it, and other times you cannot, but rest assured it's going on. When you apply it topically, it takes about 20 to 40 minutes, depending on your system, to fully metabolize. So a couple of areas. One would be between the toes. Okay, that's where I typically recommend people to do so, but in the case of breast cancer, there is nothing wrong with applying it directly to the area that's affected if you have, like I said, if you're especially dealing with prostate and or more so breast cancer. Another way to get it into the system is, like I mentioned, under the arms. You can also apply it if you're dealing with prostate, actually in the fold of the thighs. That's a thin area of tissue, and if you don't want to do any of that, you can therefore take a bath in it. If you're going to take a bath, maybe 10 to 15 drops, and sit in the bathtub for approximately 20 minutes. Topical application, you only need 1 to 2 drops. So I haven't even approached this yet, but you only need 1 to 2 drops, no more. When it comes to essential oils, less is more. And that's all I'm going to say about that for right now. Just less is more. So you can use a couple of drops. You can, if you want to inhale it, also get the benefits of inhalation. You're welcome to place it right here, in which case even though you may not be able to smell it, you will be benefiting from the molecules that are emanating from the location that you placed it. You can place it under your arms. You can place it directly. That would be good for both prostate and breast cancer. If you're dealing with breast cancer, place it directly on the breast tissue. Prostate cancer, more so between the legs and or under the arms. And as I mentioned, 1 to 2 drops on either side. Carrier oils are absolutely necessary. You don't want to apply any of these oils to the skin directly. Bergamot oil is a photosensitive, which means that actually I would use caution with all of your citrus oils, because if you apply it to the skin and you do have sensitivity, or you are more so to the sun, you could actually have a reaction that you're not in favor of. So if you're going to use these, you don't want to be in the sun immediately, and you want to make sure that you are using carrier oils at all times. The dilution rate, you can do it at a 10% rate. You know, whatever your, I'm not doing the math right now, but if you're going to use, say, 5 mLs or 4 mLs rather of the carrier, then you want to use about, you want 10% of that volume to be your oil. That's all you need. I'm going to say it again. Less is more when it comes to essential oils. It's okay to dilute these oils. In fact, it's better to dilute these oils because the body can use it more effectively. Our body is full of receptors, and you can actually get too much, and you can have the opposite effect of what you're trying to accomplish with these receptors. So you want to make sure too many terpenes in the body can can trigger an adverse reaction with the receptor. So you want to use less. I will go over this again in the video with regards to selection and use of oils. But for now, that's what I want to say about breast cancer. And for anyone who is dealing with that, my heart is with you. And you can do this, and you can use the oils to assist you. It really, your best selection is going to come from, understanding what you're using in addition to. These oils will help with the metabolism of carbohydrates, proteins, and fats, which are absolutely necessary. They work with the Krebs cycle. They also help with nutrient uptake. They support vitamin D uptake. So, which is necessary. And again, these are other things that I will go into further. If you have any questions about anything that I've said today, please comment below, and don't hesitate to email me. But the oils that I have suggested today don't have a lot of contraindications when it comes to other medications. However, if you do have any questions or concerns, do not hesitate to be in touch. In the meantime, blessings to you, and have a beautiful evening. Bye.